Hey guys, it's Core Ross and welcome to Busting Rainbow Six Siege. Today we're myth busting Operation Void Edge. With this new season comes Yana, an operator who is capable of creating a replica of herself and running around as basically a human-shaped drone. She's going to be an incredible team player with her intel gathering abilities. On defense we have Oryx, who is able to smash through soft walls, but also has the second ability of being able to climb up hatches, which is very good. His role is to be the best flanker roamer, and he is an extremely strong counter to shields, even Monty when he is extended. So if you want to check out the basic information on these guys, I've got a video to that, but otherwise let's get into testing some myths. Can Oryx jump to the highest of hatches in Rainbow Six Siege? There's some hatches that are really high up with very high ceilings, for instance consulates. Well, Oryx has no issue whatsoever jumping up to these hatches. The only hatches he can't make it to is the ones that are on the roofs of buildings, and would give him an unfair advantage in spawn peeking the enemy. Which means if we are taking this literally that this is a training exercise between two teams of Rainbow Six Siege operators, Oryx is literally deciding not to jump up to those points just to make it fairer for the other team. So that's confirmed he can jump up to the highest of hatches. Will Yana's hologram take fall damage? So this hologram only has 1 HP, it can be destroyed by literally everything in the game that causes damage. Well, what about fall damage? Well, actually you can fall as long as you like and this hologram will survive. It will actually take no damage whatsoever. So that's busted, no fall damage for the hologram. The air jab's interaction with Oryx. So of course, a counter to Oryx and his ability to get up hatches is Nomad's air jab. But you do have to be wary about where you put this, because for instance if you vault out a window, the air jab will not detonate until the operator is actually standing up after their animation for vaulting out. This is the same with going up and down the hatches as well. The animation has to be over before the air jab will actually detonate. So Oryx is going to have to be standing up. So whenever you're placing the air jab down, make sure you place it in a position where you know that Oryx will actually be standing. That way it'll go off and send him flying. And the best of course is just simply up on top of the hatch somewhere. This will stop him from getting up, or he might drop down and not bother coming up at all. And if he does decide to risk it and come up, the air jab will go off and at least you'll know he has come up from that hatch. Anyway, that is plausible depending on exactly where you put the air jab. Can Clash's electrical effect destroy the hologram? Again, we talked about how this hologram only has 1 HP, so you would think maybe that Clash here would be able to destroy it. She can do damage to operators, however she can't do damage to gadgets, and the hologram is a gadget, so there is no interaction between the shield and the hologram. As such, her ability will have no effect on the hologram, although you can electrocute the operator, although it will force her out of the hologram. So as a Clash player, you don't actually want to do this. You want to just switch to your weapon and shoot her before she can get herself out of the hologram. But anyway, that is busted. You cannot destroy the hologram with Clash's shield. Oryx's charge uses exactly the same mechanics as Nomad's air jab. So the first test here is between pulling up the assault rifle and pulling up the pistol to see if there was any difference between recovery times when you're using a different weapon, and it looks to be exactly the same timing. The next little test was to see if you could recover quicker when you get pushed into a solid surface. So on the left I'm getting pushed the full distance that Oryx can push you, and on the right I'm getting pushed into a solid surface. As a result, I thought there might be a difference in recovery times, but actually both get up at exactly the same time. So I then moved on to testing the differences between the knockback from the air jab and the knockback from the charge to see if there was any major differences, and I was actually quite surprised by how similar they were. So first up is recovery time. It's actually exactly the same as the air jab, although I think the air jab does throw you back further, but not by much more. But you can see how the timing is exactly the same. They both recover bang on, like frame for frame, bang on the same time. So that is confirmed. It seems to use exactly the same mechanics. Yana's hologram is immune to flashbangs. Now normally when Ying busts into a room with her flashbangs, no one can really back her up until of course they've already gone off, whereas Ying can be right in there straight away. Well, she can actually team up with the hologram because that hologram can just charge right in there and it won't get blinded. Now of course it can't shoot anybody, but it does give the enemy an extra target to shoot at, potentially giving Ying a higher chance of actually surviving a rush into a room. So that's confirmed, the hologram is immune to flashbangs. Oryx is a crazy guy. Is he crazy enough to actually be able to kill himself? So what we're going to do here is we're going to use the turret to down Oryx. This is good because it does a little bit of damage every time, so we're not going to accidentally kill him with it. So we're going to get him up. And then, of course, he comes back with 20 health, just like every other operator. We're going to have him run through a wall. So that's him now down to 10 health. And of course, every time he charges through a wall, he loses 10 health. So he only has 10 left. He's been rezzed already. So what happens when he charges another wall? Well, he dies. Pretty spectacularly as well. So that is confirmed. And also, this is actually going to happen. Like, it is very easy to get that kind of low on health and not realize it. You know, after being in a firefight, you're not really paying attention to your health. There's a really good chance you will, at some point, kill yourself with this guy and lose the game because of it. So I can't wait to see people's clips of that happening. Designated marksman rifles can now open hatches. So this is a revisit of an old myth because, of course, there's been a change in Rainbow Six Siege, which now allows you to open up hatches with DMRs. So this is absolutely brilliant. It takes about 5 or 6 rounds in order to do this, and it's a great addition to the DMRs, making them a little bit more versatile. So that is confirmed. Can friendly melee destroy the hologram? So of course this hologram is very much a gadget, and the game very much treats it like a gadget and not an actual player model. So what happens if you melee a friendly player? Well, absolutely nothing, but if you go and melee the hologram, you will destroy it. So that is confirmed. Oryx can bust through castle barricades. So this is handy if you need to get back into the objective room when the enemy are securing it or defusing bombs or such. And it's absolutely brilliant. Just pop right through that castle. It does destroy it, so the castle does not get it back. If you actually pull down the castle and take a little bit more time, castle will actually get back in his inventory, whereas Oryx will outright destroy it. But it's confirmed and it's very handy. Oryx's charge affects friendly players. So let's have a look and see how the interaction is between friendly operators and Oryx. Well, what's actually happening here is that Oryx is just bouncing straight off the shield, straight off the character model. There is no effect whatsoever. He just kind of bounces around and doesn't even affect the friendly player whatsoever. There's no interaction. So that is busted. So one of the first things I've seen with Oryx and his ability was, can he avoid claymores? Because he's very, very fast. He goes like crazy quick. So I was kind of wondering, could you get past a claymore? Well, as you can see there, you can't get past one that's directly in front of you like this, unfortunately. It'd be kind of crazy if you could. You can see though, he does get close to it. So let's set up a different one. What about a single laser? This is usually how I will set up my claymores. It's pretty damn good, not too easy to spot, and will usually always kill the player. But Oryx can run right through. He took no damage from that. I set this one up here to see what would happen here too, but as you can see, he gets caught by it. The barricade I think actually slows him down a little bit, but certainly he didn't make it past. So this is one that you can definitely, as an Oryx player, get better and better at, and kind of judging when and when not to use this ability, because it is going to be quite cool to actually charge right past a claymore. It explodes, you take out the enemy, you know, right after that. It could be really, really fun. But for the moment, it is definitely something you'll need to learn, and it is plausible. It's definitely doable, but you're going to have to learn when and when not to do it. Oryx charge against the hologram. So this is quite interesting actually. I was kind of assuming when he charges the hologram would get destroyed, or maybe he'd phase through it or something like that. But he actually bounces off it like it's a solid object. He cannot actually interact with it, disrupt it in any way, which is quite surprising. I thought it would have some sort of effect on the hologram, but yeah, nothing at all. Of course, if you go and charge Yana herself, she will get pulled out from the hologram, of course. But certainly that is busted. Oryx can get up to the attacker spawn on tower. So this one is awesome. This is why the test server exists, and it's a good reason the test server exists. So this is tower. This is me climbing up from spawn and actually making my way up to the top of tower, which you can do very quickly. And as you can see, this is the first time an operator has ever been able to do this on this map as a defender. And it's quite interesting to see that you can do it. Now, of course, this is confirmed because you've just seen this, but it was patched out, it was fixed, so that you can no longer get up to those higher areas. So it is actually now busted. Echo can interrupt the hologram. So this is to see how the Echo drone interacts with Yana's hologram. Now, I expect no interaction whatsoever here. As you can see, the sonic booms are going off from the drone. and it is not affecting the hologram whatsoever. We can also now bring Yana inside as well, so we can see this from Echo's perspective. As you can see, we got both Yanas, one being fake, one being real. If we ping, the real one gets pinged, but the fake one doesn't. And of course, if we actually try to hit the hologram, nothing happens whatsoever. But if we let this recharge and we actually use it on Yana, we can see that it's going to interrupt, just like with other gadgets, it's going to interrupt the hologram and she gets kicked off it. So that is busted. Echo's drone cannot directly affect the hologram. The hologram is destroyed by fire. Now we've already determined from the tests already that what's going to happen here is nothing, because it's a drone, it's a gadget. It doesn't actually get affected by the fire, just like a normal drone doesn't get affected by the fire in Siege either. So as you can see, the hologram is unaffected by the fire. Now there is a little bit of a difference here when it comes to Goyu's shields, because Goyu's shields at close range do a little bit of physical damage. So it is possible, if she's close enough to them, that the hologram will get destroyed, but she can just run right through the fire of Goyu's shield. So certainly, fire effects have no effect on the hologram, so that is busted. Oryx can destroy a mirror window on a soft wall. So as you can see here, this is a very simple one. It's confirmed, definitely the case. Oryx charging on you from above. So this is one of those myths I thought up right away. I wondered what happens if I charge through a wall, drop down. Do I still stun someone when I land? You know, because I'm still enduring the charge effect. So we set up a little test here to see what would happen if you charge through something and then drop down on a player. I thought this would be freaking cool if this works. You can just imagine setting up in here. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. Otherwise, this would be freaking cool. So charging through and then dropping just puts you simply into the drop animation, so you have no effect on players. So unfortunately, that is busted. So while doing that last myth, I wonder what would happen if I was rappelling on that wall and Oryx smashed through towards me. Because normally when you're on a rappel, not really much affects you, and as you can see, even charging through the wall does nothing. Although I did think that Oryx was going to go through the enemy player, actually though, he gets stopped by it really hard and can't go any further. So they're kind of like a completely immovable object. As you can see here from Sledge, we've got him set up on the rappel, and I'm charging him full speed right into him. There's no wall in the way now, so it's just me and him, and nothing happens whatsoever. He is completely and utterly solid, a total immovable object when he's on that rappel. And it would have been kind of interesting if there was some sort of effect, but there's nothing, so that is busted. Pulse can detect the hologram. Now this is actually something I'd love to be a feature for this hologram, because it would make this hologram a little bit more deep in its effect, because as you can see here, Pulse is not fooled by the hologram. But I'm expecting technology wise, it probably wouldn't be the craziest thing to implement this if we're talking about this being a real technology. And if they do find out that Yana is weak in some way, this could be a nice little buff they add to her, where Pulse can actually detect her heartbeat on the hologram, because then you'd be able to bait him into using his nitro cell early. But unfortunately, it is busted for now. Oryx can destroy deployable shields. So of course we've seen Oryx just punch right through castle barricades with ease. What about a deployable shield? Well, amazingly, no effect. And I guess this is a balancing thing. You don't want Oryx going around destroying all the friendly gadgets. So he actually has zero effect on deployable shields. They completely remain standing and don't even care that he's charging at them. So that is busted. Oryx can jump over open hatches. So this is a very simple one. I was wondering if he's fast enough to actually get to the other side of a hatch before he, runs out of speed. But no, he isn't able to make it. He drops down pretty damn quick. So unfortunately, that is busted. The hologram is slowed by barbed wire. Now, of course, people and drones are both slowed by barbed wire. However, this hologram is made up of drones that are flying, so they shouldn't really get affected by barbed wire, or at least technically it doesn't sound like that should be the case. So let's see here. Well, look at that. The hologram is actually slowed down by barbed wire. Like I say, it's flying drones, so I don't really feel like it should be. So my kind of feeling here is that what's happening is actually Yana is pretending to get slowed down. She wants to be look like a real player, so she's pretending to get slowed down by the barbed wire when she's controlling the hologram. That's how I see it anyway. Of course, if the barbed wire is electrified, the hologram gets destroyed. But anyway, it's confirmed the barbed wire will slow down the hologram. Oryx gets his weapon up faster after using his ability than his victims. So of course you can see here, and if we slow this down, that Oryx is able to get his weapon up quicker than that of the enemy. So that is confirmed. Now we'll move on to the bonus stuff. So this is all about positioning with Oryx. So here's a good little tip for getting up to the top of here without actually having to go upstairs. I think this is a really handy little thing. And there's bound to be many other spots like this that will get discovered over time. Another bonus with Oryx is just the destruction he can do that could be helpful to you. So for instance, we're just going to bust up all of this objective here and show you what we can do. Now of course we lose health when we go through like a wall. So what we're doing here is not actually going through walls, we're not losing any health, but as you can see, we're totally clearing up this objective, making it easier for sightlines that we might be able to take advantage of that the attackers won't be used to. So when Oryx spawns, he has 3 of these charges to go straight away, and then you can obviously charge up the rest. So if you get right over here right at the start, do 3 of your charges, then maybe go reinforce a wall or 2, then come back and do 3 more, you can clean a lot of this up before the prep phase is even done, which is really, really cool. And yeah, like look at what we've got here once we've done all this destruction. It really opens it up, gives us some new potential on how we might want to play that map and that objective. Now for the final bonus, we're going to look at the makeup of the hologram and see that it's actually made up of 4 little flying drones. Now these drones look suspiciously like PC case fans that are flying around, and one of them goes into the head, the other 3 go into like the torso area and obviously creates the hologram. But yeah, that's how her hologram is made. It is just 4 fans flying around, projecting a perfect recreation of her. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching this episode of Mythbusters. If you want to support this kind of stuff, you can check me out on Patreon, or you can become a member of the YouTube channel, or simply subscribe and like this video. Thank you very much for watching guys, and I'll catch you next time.